Hello and welcome to the show. Before we continue, apologies because my infection or whatever it is has taken a turn for the worse, and so I suspect that I might be coming down with a sore throat anytime soon. So this might be a labored episode, but still, let me go ahead anyway because we are behind, and I'm going to go through a couple of thoughts. A couple of thoughts on a LinkedIn post that I saw a couple of days ago. This was supposed to be a podcast episode that should have aired on the 1st of October, 2024. It was a public holiday over here in Nigeria, and I can't remember how I missed that day. So, the post that I saw on LinkedIn was around professionals experiencing fear and doubt. And the fellow who put up the post was a lawyer, and then he had a couple of comments about how to deal with that. So I figured I'd just hop on the pod real quick, and then make a couple of comments around that. Yeah, but before we continue, stuff on the playlist. Yeah, the last time I shared with you guys some stuff on the playlist so that you guys can wade in on the debate between me and my wife. Whether I'm a nerd or not, because she says I'm a nerd, I say I'm not. So I figured let me share some stuff that I've been up to. So now on the playlist this time, I'm listening to Seinbo Say. That is Seinbo, and then the Say is Sey. Assuming that I'm pronouncing it correctly. For those of you who listen to her stuff and it's your jam, let me know. Let me know how the name is pronounced. And she has this song that was done by Yusu Undu. So those of us who are late 70s, early 80s kids, you should remember him from back in the day. That's we Nigerians. Because I think he's from, can't remember if he's from Mali or Senegal or someplace like that, but very good vocalist. And I like Seinbo because she has a really big female voice, and I discovered her because her song was the soundtrack to Rebel Ridge. That's another thing I watched on Netflix, about the black guy who turned out to be a military specialist. Police were messing with him. They got his brother killed, and it turned out to be a nice revenge flick. One of those movies that inspire you to become a badass. And let's see. Okay, and then on Netflix, just done with Lisabi, Yoruba epic movie. I think production value of the movie was dope, real good. Although I think the depictions of rape in it were gratuitous, so I think they could have kept that out. But yeah, those are stuff that has been on my playlist recently. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's head straight into the LinkedIn post. So, so like I said, it was written by a lawyer and was about professionals experiencing fear and doubt. And so my own comments. Yeah, professionals experiencing doubt, not just professionals, anybody really. Because in the Nigerian context, when we say professionals, typically we mean lawyers, doctors, engineers, accountants, those sorts of people. But I want to say that it goes beyond that. So even wedding professionals or people who sell catfish or wedding caterers or people who do laundry services, everybody experiences fear and doubt. That's just normal. So whether you're a baby lawyer or a baby doctor, by the way, in this part of the world, when we say baby lawyer, we actually mean somebody who is still doing their undergrad part of their training, or you've just recently been called to the bar. So that's what baby lawyer means. Well, at least back when I was still in school anyway, if anybody said baby lawyer or baby doctor, that's what they would mean. Because I went to school in Obafemi Awolowo University, the greatest school on the African continent, and we had a very vibrant legal faculty and medical faculty. So of course, there was a whole bunch of us baby lawyers and baby doctors running around the place. So baby doctors, baby lawyers, we all experience fear and doubt. It's just normal. We all experience fear and doubt and rejection when dealing with people. Consultants, newbie consultants, experience fear and doubt. Even seasoned consultants also experience fear and doubt. Because eventually you move into a new client base or start solving some kind of problems that you haven't solved before. So that's just normal. Baby photographers go through it. Fashionitas go through it. Everybody goes through fear and doubt, especially when it comes to being rejected because you're talking to clients. So it's just normal. So step one, if you're going through these sorts of feelings, just know that you're not alone. Everybody has been through it. In fact, in your house, look at your wife or look at your girlfriend. She's been through it. You're female, look at your husband. He's been through it. Look at your popsy, momsy. They've been through it. Colleagues have been through it. So it's just normal. Now, what the lawyer recommended was community-driven initiatives that can build confidence. Oh, sorry, this is not the post that was written by a lawyer. This is the post that was written by a communications professional based in Lagos. Yeah, by a communications professional based in Lagos. Now, when we say communications professionals, it's just an umbrella term that can mean all kinds of people, like public relations, advertising, what else? Content marketing, like all kinds of stuff. Basically, the marketing function of the business. So this is one that was written by a communications professional. So the one that was written by a lawyer, I'm going to make comments about that one earlier. But anyway, that doesn't affect all the things that I've said prior. So the person spoke about community-driven initiatives to build confidence. Obviously, because the person who was writing the post has one of those communities that can help professionals deal with these sorts of things. And yeah, it's something I would recommend, joining a community because, when you're with like minds, you guys talk about your problems, you can get some good support, some good encouragement and getting through it. So the fellow spoke about different kinds of communities, like communications organizations, like the one that he has, that she has. Then, okay, beyond that, these are some other kinds of communities that I've heard about in the past. In Nigeria, we have etiquette schools or etiquette classes, finishing seminars, finishing schools, all these sorts of things. That's also another way that some professionals have tried to get around their fear and doubt when dealing with customers. So, like if you're a lawyer, you go to one of these etiquette places, learn how to speak right, learn how to dress right, knot your tie right. What's the difference between an American knot, a British knot? How do you knot your tie properly? When should you use a real tie? Well, when should you use a long necktie? When should you use a bow tie? Blah, blah, blah. All these sorts of things. So there are institutions like that. Okay, the institutions, that's too big a word. There are, you catch the drift. There are organizations like that based in Lagos that I know of that you can go and get this kind of education. So if you're a lawyer, banker, accountant, you can go to that place and learn. Should you be wearing a blue suit or black? Should you be wearing pinstriped or not? What is the right tie to wear before a customer meeting? Should your shoes match your belt buckle? And all this other stuff. Then, of course, other community driven initiatives out there, like Toastmasters, because people join Toastmasters. They figured if I go there and I learn how to speak well and I'm really eloquent, then that should help with confidence every single time I'm giving a public presentation or when I'm trying to close the deal in front of a particular client. So, no matter what you're going to try and do, I think all these things are not bad ideas, and all ideas are welcome. But I do have one concern when I come across these sorts of posts. And the concern that I have is that they get you, the professional, the business owner, they get you in an insular frame of mind, and they get you to focus on you, and they get you to focus on your deficiencies, which is a very difficult hole to climb out of. So, let's say you are the Yoruba guy or the Yoruba girl, and you have a nasty H factor. As in, you open your mouth and it's just H factor up and down. Dealing with that H factor is going to be a problem if every single time you head into a meeting or you head into a negotiation or you've been rejected, you think it's because you sound Yoruba because of a H factor. So it's hard to overcome the H factor going into every single engagement thinking about the H factor. So that's the reason why all these insular things, I think they can be It can be very difficult. And yes, I do know people who go and join Toastmasters. And the goal of joining Toastmasters is to get rid of your Yoruba H factor, or to help you pronounce better because maybe you think you sound Igbotic or something. Or maybe you're a thief chap and you think maybe you sound too local, so you want to clean yourself up. So that when you start looking for clients in Lagos or Abuja, you sound like you're the ish. So that's my concern, that these things are too insular. So I rather try to get people to amplify their industry experience. I think that's a really good idea, because if you have a nasty H factor, but people can't escape the fact that you're the very guy or you're the very girl when it comes to engineering or taxation or whatever, then regardless of the H factor, people just have to deal with you. I mean, just it is what it is. It's like Nigerians and our engagement so far with people, in the Chinese community. So, I mean, they open their mouth, they sound funny. But the thing is, if this engineer is the ish, then he's the ish. And that's it. Simple as that. So, when people talk about amplifying industry expertise, I think, that's a much more helpful idea. But realize that knowledge sometimes is never really the main issue. The main issue sometimes is that you feel you're not competent, or you don't have a practical application of what the things are. So go and get the knowledge, but focus more on the hands-on expertise, the hands-on doing, the practical part, to help boost your to help boost your confidence. Then the lady in the post also spoke about fear of self-promotion. Now that's a problem. And yes, it's possible that might be a problem, especially for those of us in the Nigerian context. We're all taught to be, in this part of the world anyway, we're taught to be polite, and we're taught not to talk too much about ourselves. Don't be too forward, don't be too big for yourself. This whole Niger, like even the UK kind of have that vibe about them. And I've heard about in Denmark, the thing about the tall poppy. Like if you're too tall, the tall poppy. If you're trying to show yourself, other people, cut you down. So there's some of that thing. But if it's a fear of self-promotion that we're dealing with, then the solution, I think, is not really community and all the other stuff that we've been talking about, but we should stop thinking about our business activities in terms of promoting ourselves. We should think more in terms of delivering value, and that's the reason why I keep on harping on about how educational content, I think, is the way to go. Because with educational content, you're not necessarily saying, look at me, I'm the biggest, I'm the best, I'm the brightest, I'm the smartest. But you are showing off your expertise in a very valuable way, in a very subtle way, and people kind of get the message. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, particularly those of you who've reached out to me for engagements, you want me to come and coach your people, or you want me to help you solve particular business problems, it's because I've been showing off, in quotes, in a very tasteful way, in a very classy way, which is making content here on the podcast that highlights my expertise, my knowledge base, the use case scenarios that I can work with, how I might be of help, things like that. So yes, in a sense, it is showing off, especially since now I have over 950 episodes, but it's doing so in a classy, tasteful way. So you can't listen to the podcast and say I'm being braggadocious. And for those of you who think I am, I'd like to have a look at your LinkedIn handle, especially those of you who, when you post on LinkedIn, the only thing you say is, I just got promoted, my daughter just made it to this school, I bless God for my life. And then you make the picture standing in front of your Lexus Jeep and, blah, 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 and all that. But hey, don't mind me, that's just personal beef I have with some other folks. That need not concern you guys over here. So, don't think in terms of self-promotion. Don't wake up and think, how can I promote myself every day? Wake up and think, how can I educate the market? How can I educate my potential customers, my potential partners, my potential stakeholders, my potential XYZ? So we come and think about ways that you can educate the market, whether it's by producing content online or speaking at seminars or whatever. And this is the very subtle difference between being excessively self-promotional and not. So that's the reason why you may have attended one business seminar and one guy or one girl stood on the stage and was masterful for 30 or 45 minutes. But then you just thought, no more, this person is just promoting, like this is absolute rubbish. And then you have an encounter with another speaker who maybe you've seen them 10 times. And each time they seem just as masterful. And they might even speak longer. Maybe each time is an hour or two or something. But you've seen the other person more, but they don't come across as self-promotional. But the other person that you've seen lesser than, they come across as self-promotional. And this is just the minor tweak in emphasis that makes all the difference. If one person is trying to educate the market, the stakeholders, potential customers, educate everybody out there, it's different than standing up on stage saying I graduated first class, I'm the best and I'm the brightest. And this is why you should work with me. So summary. Let me see. Anyway, so summary, my solution basically is don't think of promoting yourself. Rather just go out and deliver value. Also, don't start with your deficiencies. Don't worry about your H factor. There's a time of trying to get rid of your H factor or your Igbotic accent. Or if you come from Benue State like me, we have a way that we pronounce some words funny. Don't worry about that. There'll be a time to get with that. The focus should also always be on our potential audience, what their needs are. And when we're looking at factors outside of ourselves, we should do just fine and get the confidence that we can, that we need to move things forward one step at a time. So whenever you're face-to-face with someone or face-to-face with an audience, don't be thinking about your H factor or how Igbotic you are or how you're from a small town, you're a small town boy, from Benue State or Taraba or whatever. You should be focused real sharply on who are you talking to. What are the problems that they have? What visions are they working towards? What is their level of expertise? That is necessary because that determines the kind of information or the kind of solutions that you're going to discuss with them. And if you keep things on that level, even though you have a nasty H factor, people might chuckle. But if you're the guy, you're the guy. And if you're the babe, you're the very babe. And they can't run away from that. So this is the kind of focus that is going to inform the social media content that we put out, the proposals that we send to customers, the presentations that we make before our audience. These kinds of things will also determine, inform our style, whether we're going to be formal, informal, or casual. What else? It's also going to inform the medium that we use. Should we go live on stage? Should we do this thing online? Should we create a PDF? Should we create an audio? It's going to inform our tone. Are we direct or subtle? The way we dress, So it's by paying attention to all these things first. Who are you talking to? What's the problem? What's the goal? What's their level of expertise? What are the possible questions that they may have? Let that inform all the changes that we need to make. And then don't start off with your fears and your doubts and trying to overcome them. But focus on getting more experience. I can't stress that a lot because confidence comes from doing. There are too many people who are trying to will themselves or manifest confidence, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I started off as a wedding photographer, and the truth of the matter is, shooting a wedding is scary. It's you and the camera. Okay, of course you have your guy there, or you have your babe, your second shooter. But it's you guys standing for 12 hours trying to deliver good stuff. And if you're fumbling, you can you're fumbling. You can be forming confido and everything. But trying to will yourself into confidence, it's not going to happen. There's a natural confidence that comes after you shot a bunch of weddings. So by the time you've done 10, 20 weddings, you face a number of scenarios. Maybe bride shows up late, or your flash gets damaged. That's happened to me. Or your lens falls and almost cracks. That has happened to me. Let's see what else. There's a meltdown. The bride starts crying. I've been in those sorts of situations. And you're now wondering, okay, great, she's crying. The makeup is messed up. How are we going to do the portraits? What I'm just trying to say is, somebody who has built up some experience, because the person has shot 10, 12, 20, 30, 40 weddings, there's a natural confidence that comes with it because the person has been in those situations. So the person truly knows, like, no need to fret. The couple is running late. Okay, no problem. What's the backup? Where's the venue? Are there any good locations there? Well, can we pull them sharp to do a quick portrait here, a quick portrait there? You know, that kind of confidence, overcoming fear and doubts, just comes with experience. So we should be focusing on getting more experience. Because truly, I say unto thee, confidence comes from the doing. So it's nice to try and manifest confidence. But, manifesting and morning affirmation and community, something, all the love and all the rah-rah, everything. Like, please stop giving yourself all that false confidence. Just go out and try and get as much experience as possible, which is the reason why I also say sometimes don't just launch in straight. So as the wedding photographer, go on second shoot for a while. Yeah, you want to be your own boss, but second shoot for somebody. Pick 2 or 3 people that you respect that well, go and second shoot for them. By the time you second shoot for photographer A, 6 weddings, photographer B, 4 weddings, photographer C, 3 weddings. That's 12, 15 weddings under your belt. When you're not handling your own client, you're going to be cool, you're going to be calm, because you've walked through a bunch of things. Then one more thing that I'd like to point out is let's all realize that expertise is contextual. Because for the professional, remember that this is aimed towards communications professionals. For professionals, one of the reasons why we're scared is we don't want to come across as frauds. You don't want to stand on stage and come across as the authority. Meanwhile, you just graduated from Unilag, marketing department. It's just 3 months ago you graduated. So you don't want to stand on stage and come across as a fraud. So that's normal. In fact, it's good that you feel that way. But then, just realize that expertise is contextual. If you think of it that way, you'll find that you're more than qualified to talk to the current audience, the people that you're actually talking to. So if you've only graduated from marketing department Unilag 2 months ago, you're currently doing NYSC service. Let's say you're serving in Kano, and you're invited to Bayero. Kano, is that Bayero? I can't remember. Anyway, you're invited to university there to go and talk to the marketing department. If in the 3 months since you graduated, you've actually been doing some PP, some private practice on your own, with another person, and you've worked on marketing projects, then that's absolutely fine. It's not like people are calling you to give a presentation in front of Elumelu and Dangote, and you're now espousing on how to promote African and market African enterprise. You're somebody who has finished the degree. You did that 3 months ago, and you have 3 months' worth of experience. So now that you're speaking to people who are still in school and who are not yet where you are, you do have the expertise to talk on the things that you're talking about. So, expertise is relative, and that's the reason why I can stand here in front of you guys and say the things that I say, because expertise is relative. That's why I don't talk about billionaires and stuff like that over here on the show, because I'm not there yet. When I get there and I'm rolling in the billions, you start seeing those headlines of how to make billions of naira in 2027 or whatever. But I'm not there yet. So I'm being honest about where I am, I'm keeping it true, keeping it contextual to where I am. And that's the reason why none of you can stand up and say, hey, young man, you're a fraud. Get off that stage. That's why you can't do that. Because expertise is relative, expertise is contextual, and for now, I happen to know more than you, dear listener, listening to the show. And that's what gives me the right to stand here with this megaphone and say the things that I say. An example that you guys should remember, for those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a while, is when I was invited by the good folks at NBC. That's the Nigerian Bottling Corporation. Now, those are the people who are the franchisees. Is it franchisee? I be franchisor. The people who own the franchise for distributing Coca-Cola and all those other products in Nigeria. And I was invited to talk about artificial intelligence, about how you can use that to improve your career and improve your business. So the reason why I could stand on that stage and talk with a full chest is because even though AI is not my area of specialty, it's not my thing, as a sales and business development consultant who uses AI every day to run their business and to also solve problems for clients, I could speak about my experience in doing these sorts of things, even though I don't have a coding degree, no engineering degree, and blah, blah, blah. It's contextual. And for those of you who've been listening to the show, of course, you remember the time when I spoke to my mentee from the University of Aberdeen, because that's where I had my second degree. And we were talking AI issues. And my guy is an engineering graduate, and the guy just launched off into this whole AI thing. He assumed that me and him, we know, like, we're on the same level. But I had to calm the boy down. I was like, hey, I haven't reached that level yet. I mean, I'm still on the level of LLMs, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, basic stuff. I don't know all the coding. I don't know all the infrastructure. I don't know all the back office, every. So I told the guy, can't talk about that. This is the extent of my knowledge. So, if your organization calls me to talk about how I can use artificial intelligence to improve the state of your business, oh, definitely, I'll go on that stage, and I'll do so confidently and talk with a full chest. But if the Nigerian Engineers Society come to talk about AI, now that's a different thing. That kind of conversation, oh yes, I will respectfully decline. Except if the engineers there want to know about how they can use AI to build their businesses, then yeah, sure, we can have that conversation. But just remember that expertise is relative, expertise is contextual. I guess what I'm trying to say is, to get confidence and to avoid your fears, overcome your fears, stop looking inwards. Looking inwards, it's possible, but it's hard. Rather, look outwards. Look at your audience. What tasks are they trying to solve? What challenges are they working through? What opportunities are they chasing after? How can you get more experience? How can you practice more? How can you build competence? You take that path and you're going to be just fine. So that's pretty much. All right, so let me stop wheezing in your ears because it's almost 30 minutes. Connect with me on WhatsApp. Phone number is 080 6466 2140. Country code is +234. And connect with me on LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the show. You check the link where you're currently listening to this episode and highlight, copy and paste. You see my handsome face. And you can holler and we'll continue with the conversation. In fact, listener shout out today is to Jim Jurowitz. Jim Jurowitz. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. He's with Omnichannel Global and he's based in Minneapolis, USA. And he's in the digital transformation space. Thank you very much for listening to the show, and thank you very much for reaching out. So that's it. So just like Jim did, reach out. Let's have a convo, and let's see how we can build better businesses, improve our lot. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode. Hopefully, I should be feeling much better there, and stop wheezing painfully into your ears. So you all have a wonderful day.